video is to provide an overview of inflation and unemployment in the country under observation, which is the Maldives. The Maldives are a country of 1,190 islands in the Indian Ocean southwest of India. However, the COVID-19 pandemic as well as economical concerns in the Maldives have had a global impact. The Maldives was severely impacted by this pandemic. Before that, let's look at the concept of inflation and unemployment. Inflation is defined as a situation in which the general price level constantly rises while the value of money constantly declines. Inflation is defined as an increase in the cost of living, resulting in a decrease in purchasing power. The value of money will be reduced when inflation is high and vice versa. Unemployed people are people of working age 15 to 64 years old who are jobless, able and willing to work, and who are actively looking for work. The unemployment rate is calculated by dividing the number of people who are not working by the total number of people in the workforce.
Based on the histogram chart, there are information about the population in Maldives for 3 years. It is 2017, 2018, and 2019. The total population in Maldives in 2017 was 189,427 female, while males were 306,975. Meanwhile, in 2018, the majority of population people in Maldives is also male, with 323,522, and the female with 194,174. And in 2019, the male population is 336,067, which make it more than female population that is 194,886. As you can see in the table, Maldives national income is increased in a good way for the last 5 years, from 2015 to 2019. The major sectors that help increase the national incomes of the Maldives are tourism and fisheries. For 2015, Maldives national income are 7.011 billion PPP dollars, and in 2016, Maldives national incomes are 7.611 billion PPP dollars. Next, in 2017, Maldives national incomes are 8.255 billion PPP dollars. Furthermore, in 2018, Maldives national incomes are 9.006 billion PPP dollars. And lastly, in 2019, Maldives national incomes are 9.757 billion PPP dollars.
As of 2007, the tourism in Maldives has successfully promoted its natural assets for tourism. Tourism and other services in the tertiary sector contributed 33% to the GDP in 2000, while in fishing sector, it employs about 20% of the labor force and contributes 10% of GDP. Agriculture contributes about 6% GDP. The industrial sector provides only about 7% of GDP. The banking industry contributes 66.1% of GDP to dominate the small financial sector of the Maldives. In 2019, the Maldives has a total public and publicly guaranteed refugee debt of US $4.4 billion, which is estimated at around 78% of GDP. The public debt of the Maldives has also been contributed by half of the domestic debt as expressed in local currency. Among the financial institutions that hold the bulk of the domestic debt are central banks, 36%, national pension, 42%, and commercial banks, 36%.
In 2009, the unemployment rate in the country reached the highest peak among other years, which is 11.70%. This situation occurs due to foreign workers have taken many of the new positions, particularly in the tourism and construction industries, because Maldivians avoid manual, semi-skills and unskilled labor in 2009. Expatriates have also taken on technical and professional positions in a variety of fields where Maldivians lack the necessary qualification.
On August 2019, the Maldives Monetary Authority (MMA) have launched Open Market Operation, also known as OMO, with the introduction of reverse repurchase and repurchase facility. The main point of this is for MMA are able to control the rupiah in the banking system. Plus, the reverse repurchase are the models of securities purchased with an agreement to sell in future. Next, from the monetary policy perspective, we can see that the MMA also have started limiting the foreign exchange currency to the banking sector in 2009. Moreover, this action has been taken because MMA want to stabilize the foreign exchange in the country and is the rationing.
In 2011, the inflation rate in the country reached the highest peak among other years, which is 12.63%. This situation occurs due to the high proportion of imported goods in the CPI basket in the first half of 2011. Significantly increases in global food and energy prices resulted in elevated domestic prices. The implementation of the Goods and Services Tax (GST) in October 2011 and the subsequent rise in its rate from 3.5% to 6% in January 2012 lead to the higher inflation rates.
In 2011, Maldives has faced the highest inflation rate in between 15 years from 2005 to 2019. This inflation rate on this year is 12.63%, more than a year before that is 2.88% only. Firstly, in June 2011, the government have taken an action by raising the employee wage rate in this country to help their folk to buying their essential items in a reasonable price. Secondly, the government also has taken an initiative by enacted two types of new taxes. For example, the taxes that have been introduced by them are the Business Profit Tax (BPT) and the Goods and Service Tax (GST) on tourism. On January 2020, the inflation rate in Maldives slowly decreased because of the pandemic COVID-19 and stayed on the negative number. Starting in April 2020, the average index of prices fell by 0.7% owing to the free data offered by the telecom companies in response to the COVID-19 and nearly 8% decrease in the prices of information and the communication equipment. Prices start to increase back in July 2020 but stay on the negative number to an average of negative 4%. As the economic activity come to a halt and the Greater May region was placed on the lockdown. Market demand for most goods was further depressed as a result of this. The COVID situation has had a direct impact on the fish export and purchases. In annual terms, the value of fish export fell by 46% in March 2020 before improving slightly in total value in April 2020. Then, falling by another 46% in May 2020, the number of exports has decreased dramatically since January 2020. Besides that, for the tourism sector industry was the first to feel the effect of this crisis in early February 2020. The government have fully shut down and closing the country's border. This has affected the people who work in this industry that have lost their job as a result of this virus are also having difficulty finding a new work.
By providing temporary support of up to 5,000 Maldives rupiah per month to workers who have lost their employment or income as a result of the coronavirus pandemic, the new project will sustainably fund the government COVID-19 income support allowance plans. This will provide a lifeline to needed family, allowing them to stay at home and prevent the illness from spreading further, particularly with the overcrowded capital city, we predict government debt to rise to 73% of GDP in this recent year, up from 60% in 2019. The government has improved debt transparency and want to control the growth of government guarantee, which has raised to 50% of GDP in 2019 from 4% in 2017. The goal of this report was to learn more about the Maldives economy and collect data on the country inflation and employment. In summary, every country in the globe is faced with similar macroeconomic issues, and the government will find a method to address them. Furthermore, the rate of unemployment increased domestically in 2009, reaching 11.40%. In the last of 15 years, this is the greatest amount ever recorded because the people of the Maldives are interested in working, despite the fact that there are several industries in which they might work. Next, the inflation grew in 2011 because of the higher price of the import goods in CPI basket. The effect of the inflation made the government introduce tax to overcome the problem that affected by inflation. Lastly, when the global pandemic came, the Maldives economy became more worse, but the government will find a new way to prevent it because every problem has its own solution.